Welcome to Authentic Health Fridays on The Jason Wright Show. This segment empowers you to reclaim control over your well-being and live a life aligned with your body's natural design. I am thrilled to guide you through insightful conversations and practical advice, all geared towards helping you achieve the vibrant and balanced life you deserve. In this dynamic series, we have the privilege of tapping into the expertise of a true visionary in the field of health and wellness. Dr. Gus Vickery, the founder of Authentic Health, located in the scenic heart of Asheville, North Carolina, is more than just a renowned author and speaker. He's a beacon of wisdom in the world of precision medicine and integrated health. Each episode, Dr. Vickery will be your trusted companion on a journey to unlock the secrets of authentic health. Drawing from his extensive knowledge and expertise, he'll share invaluable tools, tips, and information to guide you in understanding your body's unique needs and embracing the principles of precision medicine. Well, hey there, everybody. This is Jason, and it is time for another Authentic Health Friday. I'm actually flying solo today because Dr. Gus is out in Asheville, North Carolina, moving into his new home, and so I wish him well with that, but I'm sure he will be right back here next Friday with another episode. So since I'm flying solo, I thought, well, I'll just make this short and brief and bring you something that is I'm actually working on personally. Okay, so about, probably 3 weeks ago, we did an episode of Authentic Health Friday where we went through molecules, the ones that were actually a part of Dr. Gus's basic protocol that he suggests for most all of his patients as kind of like a baseline. And one of them was acetyl-Carnitine. And so what I'm doing is I'm trying to go back and look at every single molecule that I take as a supplement and really dig in and understand it fully. There's this thing called library knowledge versus actual in-depth knowledge. And this term isn't original to me. It was one I read somewhere. I can't remember where I heard it, but it was essentially making the case that a lot of people have library knowledge, which means that they know the book is in the library, they know what the title is, and therefore they think they know what is in the book, even though they've never read it. And it's when we read a book and we get the actual details and the full texture of the text that we really understand what the book means. So that takes us to actual in-depth knowledge of the reading versus just having that library knowledge. And I think a lot of us, when it comes to supplements, we walk around out there with kind of this high-level library knowledge. We're listening to a podcast and we hear Andrew Huberman or Jason Wright and Gus Vickery or Ben Greenfield, Peter Attia tell us that this is a supplement that we should add to our stack. And we don't really know why. We just kind of understand a little bit during that podcast. We go on to bodybuilding.com or go to Drug Emporium or wherever you get your supplements, and we order it and we start taking it. And then by the time we've been taking it for a while, we don't even know why we're taking it. We forgot why. We probably forgot where we even heard it. And I have done this so many times in my life. And that's why, and I know I'm not that unique. I know some of you are shaking your head going, yeah, that's exactly why I'm taking NAC right now. I don't even remember why. I don't remember where I heard to take it, but somebody one time said I should be taking NAC. So I added it to my supplement protocol. There's a few problems for that. For one thing, if you don't know why you're taking one of your supplements, then you're less likely to, one, take it on a regular basis. Two, when you run through that bottle, you're less likely to reorder it unless you're on some auto ship, in which case, again, if you don't know why you're taking it, then it'll pile up. You see, in goal setting, we always hear about this, knowing your why. You have to have a why. The why is what will drive you. Your why will sustain you when willpower fades. You have to have your why. Well, it's very critical whenever we're talking about supplements and molecules for our health to know the why we're taking this. And so as a result of this knowledge, or just kind of come to this reality for myself, I wanted to make sure and reinforce my knowledge of the things that I'm taking so that I would understand why I'm taking them. And so I chose one this week to just really go narrow and deep on, and it was acetyl-Carnitine, which was actually one of the molecules that Dr. Gus recommended as a daily dose. And so I want to tell you some of the reasons why I am taking it. Now, this is not a recommendation. I'm not a physician. I'm not a medical professional. This does not establish any kind of relationship with us. I'm just telling you why not only because Gus told me that this needs to be part of my daily protocol, but I want you to understand why. I want you to understand why I don't miss taking my acetyl-carnitine every single day. All right, for me, the primary reason, and there's several benefits to it, but I want to tell you the main one why I take it. Okay, so I work out twice a day, almost every day, right? I really want to manage my lean body mass. I don't want to have extra body fat. Okay, so this is the primary reason why I take acetyl-carnitine, although there are other benefits I'm going to describe. And here's why I take it. So whenever we take acetyl-carnitine, what it will actually do is it will increase our body's usage, in particular in the mitochondria. It will start to increase the usage of fatty acid versus glucose in the mitochondria. So our mitochondria, which as you know is the powerhouse of the cell, right? It is energized or fueled by either glucose or fat. Now, if I ask you the question, which would you rather burn, glucose or fat? Most everyone out there would say, yeah, I want to burn fat as much as I can. It's the reason people go on keto diets. It's the reason why we eat low fats. It's because we know that burning up the sugar can happen fast because that's what our body's going to first go to. It's really easy for our body to get to. And so we'll burn up sugar quickly. We don't have to think about it. Now, and then also if we have too much glucose in our system, as you've heard on this podcast and many others, you know that eventually if there's nowhere for it to go, it will go and be stored as fat. So what we want to do is we want to burn more fat. So as for me, when I'm training, what I want to know is that my body is prioritizing fat consumption, fat burning. I want to tap into my fat as fuel. Also, I want more energy. I'm getting older. I don't want to back off on my workouts, so I just need more energy. Well, with acetyl-carnitine, I know that I'm going to be tapping those fat reserves that will give me more sustained energy. Now, there's also a neurological component to this. So acetyl-carnitine, it actually breaks the brain-blood barrier, okay? So that means that it can actually get into, it can have an impact on your hormonal responses for things such as serotonin and dopamine. So it puts you in a better mood. I don't know about you, but when I'm in a better mood, I'm more likely to work out. I'm less likely to do emotional eating. And so I like the fact that it can cross the brain-blood barrier and actually have a positive impact on my mood. Now, there has also been some studies that show that it helps with cognitive health. So a lot of folks and you know, Dr. Gus works with a lot of people who have either had strokes or other cognitive malfunctions to where he puts them on some of these stacks to help them recover or at least halt the decline of their cognitive responses. And so one of these that's probably in all of his stacks for his brain health patients is going to be acetyl-L-Carnitine because it has been proven to have a really positive impact on your neurotransmitters. But let's go back to the fat part again. There was a study that was done on patients. I think they did it for not patients or just participants. I think it was like a 6-week study, and they gave half of the participants acetyl-carnitine, and half of them did not. And they tested their mitochondria's use of fuel of fatty acid versus glucose. What they found was that the people that were taking acetyl-carnitine actually burned 70% fat to 30% glucose. So what that means is all things being equal, let's just imagine that your body, your mitochondria is burning 50-50 glucose and fatty acid. Well, if you wanted to increase that fat burn using fat for fuel by up to 70%, well, maybe acetyl-carnitine could help with that. And so if you're someone like me, I reached a point, and it's almost, those first 20, 30 pounds, especially if you let yourself get into a really just, a state of metabolic malfunction, I guess. You're just overweight, right? You got those big flabby fat that you're trying to lose. If you go into you do some keto and do some other things, that weight can kind of start to shrink really quickly. But whenever you get into a leaner state and you're still trying to get rid of that 1% to 2% body fat, it can be a real challenge. And so then we have to start looking at, all right, if I don't want to just continue to up my cardio and thus wear out my body, worry about things like brittle veins and just, too much cardio can harm you. So if you don't want to just start taxing your body physically, you don't want to starve yourself, doing these obvious high level things, these top level things of just, I'll just exercise more and I'll eat less. And that's going to disrupt your sleep. It's just going to be miserable. If you don't want to do that, well, then you start working on the inside. That's what these molecules can do for you. Now, it's not a panacea. It's not a cure-all. It's not something, I don't want you to think that I'm saying take acetyl-carnitine as a diet pill. That's not what it is. It's not why I take it. But it is going into our body at the cellular level and manipulating its performance. Remember, that's what we always talk about on Authentic Health. Dr. Gus is very keen on managing his patients at the cellular level. And that's why this is called Authentic Health. It's because it is going to the cell's authentic design, the way it was designed, and starting there. Not trying to do some sort of crazy manipulation based on something that doesn't fit the way the cell was designed. It's like, don't try to drive a car with no tires on it. Don't start trying to change the tires for something else. No, use tires and use the tires that are best for that car. That's the way Gus approaches helping patients get their bodies in proper peak performing working order. So when it comes to trying to burn more fat, then I want to have acetyl-carnitine in my system. I want to know that my mitochondria is going to be fueled by more fatty acid than it is glucose. I don't eat a lot of sugar, so this could even enhance what I'm already doing. So, and also this is for those of you too, again, I'm not saying that there's no benefits or that this will, if you're someone who does intermittent fasting and you're on a keto diet because you have decided that you're wanting to lose some weight and so you really want to get in that state of ketosis, which, as you know, when you get into ketosis, that's when your body will, you drastically limit the glucose levels in your body. That's why there's no carbs, because the carbs are going to convert into glucose. And you're going to burn that, but you get rid of all that, so your body has nothing left to draw from, but fat for fuel. Well, a lot of people don't want to go on a keto diet. It can be very limiting in what you eat, and there's some studies that have shown now that being on keto diets for long periods of time, we need to have variability in our diet at some point for the gut biome. That's one of the things that Dr. Gus and I talk about a lot, is having that diversity in our gut biome. And if you start to just eat the same things every day for long periods of time, you can hamper that biome diversity. So this is a way to get some of the impacts. And that's what's cool. When you start to learn how to put these molecules together, you can start to recreate some of the impacts of these things that people do, like the keto diet, just with molecules. Again, I'm not saying, please do not take from this that if you're on a keto diet, you go, oh, well, you mean I can get off this crazy keto diet where I'm only eating bacon and meat and no carbs at all, start taking acetyl-carnitine, and then I'll have the same effects? Absolutely not. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is, if you've been on a keto diet for a long time and you're training, you're exercising, you're just not seeing the weight loss, and you want to add some variety to your diet, you want to start adding some more fruit, you want to start adding some more, just some more carbs to kind of make it a little more pleasing, give yourself a little more variety. Or we're about to go into the holidays. You decide, look, I don't want to be on a keto diet going through the holidays. I want to eat all that great stuff in proper quantity, right? In limit how much you eat, everything in perfect proportion. But you want to have some things. You don't want to be on a keto diet going to the holidays. Well, maybe start adding some of this acetyl-carnitine into your stack so that you're starting to prioritize fat burning over glucose. So now for me, my why, and you have your own why, but my why is that I want to prioritize fatty acid burning. Oh, and here's another thing too. Let's talk about burning of the fatty acid. Whenever our mitochondria metabolizes whatever we're eating, and with this fatty acid that we're going to start burning as a result, at a higher level than what we normally would if we're taking acetyl-carnitine, there's going to be some waste product, right? There's going to be some free radicals. Well, acetyl-carnitine has been known to be a powerful antioxidant enhancer. So what it will do is it will get those free radicals out of your body quicker, so you're less likely to get sick. Again, so as we go into the holiday season, we're going to be eating more carbs. Even if you are someone who's paleo and you're always watching your diet and watch what you eat, it's hard not to. Like for me, it's really hard to pass up whenever Abby, my youngest daughter, comes home and makes me a big batch of my favorite butterscotch cookies. I'm not going to say, no, I'm not going to eat those. No, I want to have some. But what that's going to do is that's going to up my glucose levels. I'm going to start, so I'm going to want to do everything I can since I'm going to have more carbs, to burn the fat and keep everything in rhythm. And so as a result of some of those things I'm going to eat, I'm going to put off some more free radicals in my body. You want to get those out of the way because you always want to keep inflammation tamped way down. So that's another benefit of acetyl-carnitine. And here's a crazy one. Let's see. I want to read this to you that I just learned. I actually first heard Andrew Huberman talk about this, but this is something that I thought was kind of crazy. Okay. Acetyl-carnitine is better absorbed and crosses the blood-brain barrier, which I've already mentioned, more rapidly than L-carnitine. So that's another thing too. Acetyl-carnitine and L-carnitine are not the same thing. You want to have the acetyl-L-carnitine versus the L-carnitine as it relates to this conversation. Studies have demonstrated its effectiveness in supporting cognitive health and maintaining a positive mood in the elderly, possibly by partially inhibiting the activity of the, let me get this right, hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, and lowering chronically elevated cortisol levels, which become elevated during stress. Now, here's the one that I thought was kind of crazy that I heard from Andrew Huberman. In addition to acetyl-carnitine support of brain and nerve health, it also promotes healthy sperm count and motility. I guess motility is the same as mobility. So I had never heard that. I was actually looking at some of Andrew Huberman's videos the other day. Neuroscientist from Stanford has an incredible podcast, The Huberman Lab. I highly recommend it. And I just came across when I was doing my research on this. I just, again, trying to get a deeper understanding of the benefits of acetyl-carnitine, and found this ancillary benefits of acetyl-carnitine. And it was Andrew Huberman. So I'm like, oh, okay, the molecule I'm researching, and it's Huberman. Check it out. And one of those is a higher sperm count. And you got to have those sperm. You got to have a lot of sperm, and they got to be willing to travel really long, really quickly. So this is another thing. So for those of you who are out there trying to either add to or start a family, then again, there is an ancillary benefit. Acetyl-carnitine is one of those molecules that is very much like Ben Greenfield. He has certain molecules that he calls kind of like the Swiss Army knife of. Well, this is kind of one of those Swiss Army knife molecules that you can take that has a lot of benefits. So again, if you're someone out there that's trying to start a family, and you're a guy and you want to increase your sperm count, then that would be your why. I mean, that makes it too, so that you're not just thinking about taking this random supplement that if you take it, fine. If you don't, fine. No, now you match a purpose with the supplement, you're much more likely to take it. Same thing with burning fat. That's why I'm like, now I'm going to take it, because I'm like, okay, I want to make sure that I'm always maintaining lean body mass. So why am I taking this? Because I don't want to lose my fat burning capability. I want to make sure that everything I'm doing, all the exercise I'm doing, I'm getting the most energy. Whenever I do it, I'm burning mostly fat. That's my why. So now I know exactly why. And so that's what I wanted this to be for you guys today. That if you are taking acetyl-carnitine, if you listen to the molecules episode, or if you decide that you're going to go out there and take it, then you'll always look at it and you'll go, okay, if I'm taking this, the reason why I'm going to take it is because this will help my body burn more fat than glucose. And I want to burn fat. It's just that simple. Now, there's a whole host of other reasons why you can take it. Again, it's a Swiss Army knife molecule. But if you have at least one primary why in your mind, I just think you're more likely to take the molecule. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start coming on every once in a while, either whenever Gus isn't around, or maybe he and I'll just take this up every once in a while. Just pick one of these molecules that are kind of like the standards for a protocol and just answer that question constantly. Why am I taking this? Why? And just reinforce it. Why? Because I think that will drive behavior more than anything else when it comes to trying to form a habit, trying to overcome willpower, and trying to sustain something. Is you got to have that why. And so, once again, acetyl-carnitine. Why does Jason take it? Because he wants to prioritize fat burning over glucose, to stay leaner, to have more energy during my workouts, to have a better mood, and just for overall better health. I hope this was beneficial. I hope you have an incredible weekend. And don't forget, go back. If this is the first time that you've come across Authentic Health Friday, go back and listen to all the episodes. They're stacked one on top of the other. They're built like building blocks. That's the way Gus designed it. This is like a free masterclass on overall health, wellness, and longevity for health span. And we're going to keep bringing these topics to you each and every Friday. Thanks so much for listening. I'm Jason, and I'm out. Well, that does it for this episode of The Jason Wright Show. Thank you so much for listening. This has been a Texas Titan Media production. Fourth Wall did the music. And as always, thank you so much for listening. Please consider going out to jasonwrightnow.com and signing up for the Vitruvian letter. Also, please go out to iTunes. It takes like 30 seconds to just leave us a 5-star rating. It does wonders for the podcast. I would be so grateful. And with that, until we meet again, go crush it and endeavor to improve always in all ways. I'm out.